I actually wanted to do this video for a while now, and that is basically discussing pretty much my feel and take on the highest difficulty that Payday 2 has to offer, being Death Sentence 1 Down. But more importantly, just the Death Sentence difficulty, because the 1 Down modifier is just essentially, it's just a pretty much a modifier, pretty much.
Enough of this sneaking shit.
But I don't have problems with the 1 Down mechanic at all. I think it's perfectly fine. Another thing that's perfectly fine is just the console versions of Payday 2. I have no problem with it at all, in fact. The real issue, though, is actually on the other port, being PC. Now, I play both ports, and I can definitely tell you it's a night and day difference between the two. While Death Sentence on console, it actually feels like it's actually still pretty tough, and I actually enjoy it. Especially that, well, it's also still challenging. It's also giving me some entertaining value as well. After all, I did complete, well, every heist, all the loud heists in a pacifist stats, even though I do have AI with me, but I just did it without killing a target, and plus it was very entertaining to watch, not only for you guys, but also for myself, to seeing how the AIs basically duking out each other, especially when free AIs like LMG'd out a bulldozer, is completely insane. However, I can't do the exact same thing with the PC version because there's a lot of things that has been changed. Number one is there's so many spawn points, especially if you play on the newer maps that the PC has and can't be optimized for console. You'll notice there's a lot of freaking spawn points they had. Especially this lack of cover. A prime example to that would be Henry's Rock, especially regarding the laboratory. It's completely insane that there's no cover, and there's very little of cover. And the moment that you do find cover, guess what? Your back's gonna get flanked by another spawn point of cops and shields. It's just insane. And to top it all off, you actually have a lot more enemies in the field compared to when playing on a PS4 or Xbox One, or I should say any other console version at that. But I only cover up the PS4 and Xbox One since they have the Death Sentence 1 Down, and it's the only thing that we have the thing closest to it next to the PC. So that creates a lot of issues of where a lot of people are going to go down a lot because there's overwhelming odds. A lot more enemies in the field. It's like playing on a crime spree, but much more harder versions for the consoles. Pretty much that the enemy have just add more numbers in the field, have 2 additional bulldozers added, 2 additional medics, 2 additional tasers.
We need to get it fixed.
And I could just literally say almost every other special unit. So it's kind of crazy to see 4 dozers in the field, 2 medics or 2 minigun dozers in the same room, which is insane enough. On console, I may have the exact same, but it's actually very rarely to see. So it's actually very tough to deal with, especially on the more very obnoxious heists to deal with, especially if you're going for your DSOD treatment, such as maybe Goat Simulator, Lab Rats, or even maybe Safe House Nightmare. But I wouldn't say Safe House Nightmare because there's not a lot of enemies that spawn. But just those few with the big open areas that you had to move either with the big bags Slaughterhouse, it was insanely tough. Where on playing console, I actually have no problem. And kind of funny too that I did my pacifist loud on all the highs, and I actually had no problem dealing with. And you can see right here in this this big lobby, if I was playing on PC, this area would be literally filled with cops everywhere. But since I'm on console, I don't have to deal with this shit that much. And I can actually still perfectly fine. So it's actually pretty good. It actually flows pretty well. On PC, there's actually no flow. It actually halted your progress to actually continue to be even good. So that's just my concern. But it's not only the enemy AI is a problem on DevSense. It's also the way how Overkill handled the police assault. Where once you're basically close to the end of the police assault being over, like you got yourself a moment of breather to tackle the other objectives, try and get your teammates out of custody. Only for like 5 seconds later, the assault just started. And not only that, in terms of when your AI companion says the cops are retreating, except they don't. They still engage you. So they're not really retreating, they're still firing against you as a last resort, which normally it shouldn't happen. And this is where of the whole thing of rewarding very patiently for the assault to be over before you tackle any more objectives and just hunker down trying to survive, it defeats the purpose of waiting out patiently during the assault, especially if the cops don't retreat and you only get 5 seconds of breathing room, which is not a whole lot. So it really defeats the purpose. So that happened to me in Brooklyn Bank. I'm pretty sure there's like other heists that does this problem as well, but not to all heists, but definitely some of the fewer ones. And also, before DevSense became a thing, when we had one down, just one down, the enemy health was like bulldozer level, which is insane enough for it. Especially when you have like a heavy SWAT. It is completely insane. And all enemies basically act like a miniaturized bulldozers, which is completely insane. Like, for example, a medic can be just like a medic dozer. Before we even have a medic dozer became a thing. And clearly, almost every enemy is basically like is like a bulldozer because of the health. Especially a cloaker, since cloakers are like the second highest health enemy in the game. Only the bulldozer being out because of the and also have the second highest headshot multiplier, which it was pretty insane. So I'm glad I'm glad that's kind of over. They reduced the health, but I still find the health is still a little bit ridiculous for most part. And I say this because as a person who doesn't always play with crits all the time, it is completely different. Because I don't always want to run crits all the time. And if you have crits, that means the difficulty is gotta be not perfect and it's gotta be hard to balance shit out. But I do gonna say that DevSense is not meant to be a difficulty to play fair. It's it's meant to be for the most seasoned veteran of players that plays this game, like for endless of hours. It's just for those guys who able to master the Payday 2 so well. Regardless if they, you know, go down a lot, if they can still succeed, they succeed. And you know, and then of course there's other people who still trying to make other builds and not viable for at least DSOD, like try to do without any downs or try to play without AI. There's that too as well, but those things I just can't bother to do. I did a couple videos on it, but I just don't find myself very fun or enjoying of it. Mainly just because, well, I just feel kinda completely, you know, empty-handed, like playing with the AI. And I don't know if I'm gonna have the exact same results for it on PC, because I think there's only one time I ever played with the AI, but that was like only do it for like an overkill achievement. But trying to do it for DSOD, I basically have no luck. After all, it's completely different because, well, console you just get a little bit more armor than PC. Which, I'll definitely do a video on the differences between console and PC. And I'll figure this will be a nice little fun fact that for those who still play console and want to see what the PC is like, I'll try to show off a lot of things that are completely different between both. But let's get back to topic here. And also another thing that it concerns me when it comes to DSOD is also how the community basically reacts to it or behaves when someone talks about it. Whether to be like what build works or what their opinion on it, like saying that, oh, DSOD, like, oh, it sucks so much dick, it's so hard, I can't beat this. Which I understand it's very frustrating to fail the same heights over and over on the highest difficulty, probably in the exact same objective. But if it's too much for you, either if you don't have a lot of skill points, or you just, or like I said, it's too much, just play on a lower difficulty, practice on that heist, know all about the objective, every nook and cranny of every location of it, and you'll be able to do it just fine. Now, unfortunately, there are those people who also kind of would love to talk trash to anyone who doesn't really play on DSOD, saying that I have this one guy that's basically like that when I did a stream of Big Oil for the whole Dr. Miserable challenge on the PS4, since that achievement or trophy it's not available on the PS4. So I did it for like a little bit of a challenge, and the guy just came to my stream and told me, Wheelman, play Death Sentence 1 down, which is actually very, of course, wasn't really the nicest thing to say, but it was actually pretty embarrassing and actually kind of sad. There's actually people who actually behaves like this, like playing like DSOD is actually like a tournament of some kind, which it's entirely not true. Payday 2 is a co-op game, and yet they just treat it like if it's a pro game. Like, it's not true at all. It's a PvP, it's a PvE game, not a PvP multiplayer. Which I hope one thing that Overkill doesn't go and make it a multiplayer game. I know a lot of people may actually want to see that, but that's what one of the things that the Payday series has its charm for. It is this addicting co-op experience. If you tried to include multiplayer, it just wouldn't work well, because well, the maps just wouldn't work well for Payday 2. Hell, I even see one on the mobile game, the Crime War. It wasn't one of the maps. It was like bank heist. It doesn't really fit well because it's such small room, and it just doesn't work well in my favor, or in my opinion. Plus, their only objective, I don't know much about the info, but one is like pretty much a you had to high serious objectives to drill a safe, and the cops basically prevented it, and that's pretty much it, which is a complete joke. Which, that's not the type of Payday I play. I play for its co-op, addicting gameplay experience, and nothing more. And also, when you even tell them to trying to play like DSOD, if they try to join like a random pub of a host and they go down a lot, like they go down 2 times because they don't know about 9 Lives Ace, the host would probably just text them saying, "Go play on a lower difficulty, you freaking noob," and then they kick them out because, well, that's kind of pointless what the other guy says, that real players play DSOD. So that statement doesn't make any sense for both sides. Like, if you don't care for the achievement at all, and you just want to play for the fun, you know what, go for it. I'm not gonna stop you. There's nothing to shame of playing on a lower difficulty, that even if you're already mastered on DSOD. Plus, a lot of people may just stop playing Payday 2 because of it, because they felt like trying to play DSOD, well, 24/7, feels like a chore to them, and not really like an actual fun time. And that's what I kind of felt like I am right now. Especially with PC and mostly other stuff on DSOD. It feels like it's a chore because I had to use like the best weapons, the best setup, just trying to beat DSOD, which I don't have a problem with just one particular build. But it's just the fact that you're expected to do good. Like, almost like a pro level of this game, which that's DSOD should be all about. But it just doesn't help the fact they have all these factors involved with so many enemies. So many spawn points. So little time with the police assault between assault waves. And also a plethora of so many DLC heists you had to pull off, especially if you're going for the achievement. Especially if you don't have a lot of money, you can't really basically play the heist. Especially if you want to get that Death Force or Death Sentence mask, you're basically forced to buy the DLCs if you don't have any friends that actually own those DLCs in the first place, which kind of sucks.
Left. Down the stairs. On the ground. Down. Kill this right. Yeah. I got the dozer. This is the place. The getaway.
So it's kind of a little bit, also a little bit embarrassment that people had to do something like this, like had to be this little bit toxic or talking trash about certain players that they enjoy what difficulty they play. After all, one of the gaming tips says find a difficulty that fits your how comfortable you are or with your certain play style. And that's why I don't feel like doing even more DSOD videos in the future. Especially I have a lot of stuff going on, and especially I'm very excited for, well, gotta be excited to open up my PS5 like next week. And hopefully all my data transfer from the PS4 up to the PS5. Hopefully that's the case. I'm not sure how it works. I'm pretty sure there's like an options in the settings where I can transfer all my data to the other system. But the only time I'm ever gonna do DSOD now is probably just either for necessary stuff, where to help a friend out, or basically trying to complete the remaining videos of my stealth DSOD. Now, in terms of the loud one, I'm not really sure I'm gonna do it if I have the time. If I do have the time, I'll definitely do it. But afterwards, there's no more DSOD videos, no more DSOD streams, no more of showing off builds on DSOD. I guess I'm kind of burnt out on that difficulty. And after all, I just want to play the game for fun, not as a chore.
Make that ass move very fast, yes? That was very great. Great.
And I guess another thing is,
Great work, crew. It got a little messy, but you finished it like pros.
and yeah. So, you probably won't even not gonna see me doing the, trying to do a DSOD, like, or trying to do like a DSOD build of trying to do it playing just solo without the bots or without any AI, and try to do it without going down, which I have no plans on doing it at all. I just can't bear with it. I did it for a couple highs. I only did like a few. I did like rats. I forget the other ones I did as well. I tried big oil a couple times. I just can't do it. It sucks so much dick that it takes so long to repair a drill, and it didn't help because I don't have much breathing room because the police assault is fucked up. Everything about DSOD on PC is so much. It's so fucked. I can't play with it. I just can't stand it. I can't do it with the AI. I can't do it myself. I usually had to do it with another good friend that actually knows how to do DSOD. And like I said, even if I fail multiple tries to help a friend trying to get a certain DSOD achievement, it's worth it because at least I'm playing DSOD for a reason and not just I'm doing it for the sake of me of just not having fun with it and trying just get the video out already. But guys, that's gotta be it for me. All I'm just saying is, I just really wish the death sentence difficulty was in a much better state for everything. For the AI, for the police assault, for the community as a whole, and everything else is. I hope they treat it a lot better in the near future, especially for Payday 3. And after all, if you're a new player that still want to try and try to see how the DSOD works, climb up the difficulty ladder first before you make it. After all, there's nothing to be ashamed of when playing on a lower difficulty. After all, you're learning the game, you're learning the spawn points, you're knowing the enemy, and you're learning where the objective is and what's the next one to do. If you can memorize all of that, Death Sentence can actually be a very challenging and yet a very welcome addition to your Payday 2 experience. But yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. Until next time, farewell, and have a wonderful day, everyone.